Hello, this is Carl from Monkey Mod, and hi there, welcome. So this video I'll be disassembling and reassembling the ZWQ S200 for your reference. So first you want to take out these two screws first. You can ignore this and this, they are sort of cosmetic, you don't really actually have to remove them. Once you have that two screw removed, now you want to remove the slide cover, this piece. So these two pins. Now the pin goes one way and it goes in from this side. So you have got to punch them out from this side. So as you can see, the pin with the sides to free yes, on this side though. So once you have removed these two pins, this slide cover can just be removed that easily. Once you have removed, you will see this part where there is another pin and two more Allen hex screw. So let's just remove the pin first. So once the two hex screw and the pin is popped off, you can remove the pusher or the bridge, I guess. Now with that part removed, now you can actually punch these two pins out carefully. Now you want to be very careful because once these two pins is removed, the slide catch mechanism will force off and you don't want to lose them. So I'll show you how to remove it. Right, so before you completely remove both of the pins, you want to position your blaster this way. So when the pin is removed, the slide catch mechanism will force through the magazine well. Right, there you go. You can see the slide catch just fell off like this. So the slide catch consists of three components. The two plastic tabs and then a very tiny spring. Be careful not to lose it. Right, so these three components. Right, once you have the slide catch dealt with, now you can slowly pull the entire slide assembly off the main shaft. You want to be very careful because the catch is still engaged to the trigger itself. So you want to be very careful, just pull it slowly. Right? Once you hear that clicks, now you are clear. But still be very careful because the trigger has two springs, it's just there. It's not secured by much. So just carefully slide the entire slide assembly off. Then just dislodge the trigger and trigger bar, and you have these two trigger spring. Right, to the slide itself, it's pretty simple. So you want to remove these two screws first. You can pop off the front cover like so. And then now you are left with this piece here. You want to push this plunger on the spring forward a little bit so you can dislodge this from here, like so. Right, and then you're almost done. So this is the main spring, the piston, plunger tube, the slide return spring. This is optional. If you want to have an easier time priming, you can remove this. And then you're left with the sort of the U channel here and with the inner barrel. If you want to swap your inner barrel with the longer one, you can do so right now. But I'm just going to reassemble it. But before that, this is your catch mechanism. To remove it, simply just push out the pin from the inside, because you can see again this pin is a one-way pin where the friction head is located on this side. So you want to be very careful and hold the catch so it doesn't pops up. Right, and this is the catch, and there's two and then there's two catch spring in there. You may you may swap the catch spring to a stronger one right now, but I'm just going to put it back. Right, you want to install the spring properly because there's two slots in there, right there, so that the spring can sit in just nicely. And then the catch goes in like this. Right, just make sure that it's working. And then now you can reinstall the pin. Right? Now let's just reassemble it. Sorry for the mess. Right, first the main spring. Again, if you want to upgrade with the 1.6 spring, now is the time. And if you want to reapply some silicone grease, now is also the time. This is the main O-ring, I suppose. This is the plunger tube. So just attach the plunger tube to the the U, whatever it's called, thing here first, and then place the piston or the plunger rod like so, and then the slide return spring, and now you just place it in slowly, and then you just want to apply a little bit of pressure so the inner barrel can clear the slide. And then you want to make sure this part, the tab, is supported by the slide itself like this. So now you can actually just relax because it is quite secure. Now you want to install the front cover piece. Now if you don't install this piece and you do it after you put the entire slide into the receiver, you are going to have a very hard time installing this piece back. So I recommend you to install this first. Make sure it's installed properly. These two large tabs should be hugging somewhat the plunger tube like so. Right. Once that's done, you can reinstall these two long screws. Right, you do not want to over tighten these two screws, otherwise then you will have trouble. The slide cover will have a problem hooking onto the receiver later on. I'll show you why later. So just hand tighten, just nice. Right, and that is the assembly. So now let's deal with the receiver. Right, the more complicated part, actually, let's just remove this pin as well, because it will make installing the slide catch that much easier. It's a rather large pin, so you may have to punch it out with quite a bit of a force. It's a really large pin. Right, once the pin is off, you can take this, whatever this thing is called. So, alright. Now, to put it all back together, the first step is to install the trigger and both the trigger spring. Now, if the trigger spring is giving you too much trouble, I recommend using a little bit of a thick grease, just a bit on the spring so that it will stick onto the shell. So let me just try and do it without that. So you want to place the spring on both sides like this. I don't think you can see that, but yeah, one here and the other on that side. It's quite challenging. Yeah, like something like this. Once you have done that, you can grab the trigger, slowly put it in, so that it will sandwich both the spring and between the spring, I guess. Yeah. And then just be very careful because the spring can just force off quite easily. Once you have done that, support it with your finger or whatever. Just keep the spring there. Now grab the slide assembly. You can now slowly put it in, like so. Just slowly. Now you can see from the inside, at this point, the slide would have covered both the spring snugly, and then you don't have to worry about that anymore because it's not going anywhere. So now you can actually push in all the way, but do not. Now you want to pay attention to the catch and the trigger bar because you want to slot the catch into the trigger bar. I don't think you can see it properly, but yeah, let's just grab some tools. Just push the the catch plate in, and then slowly slide the trigger bar over, and then just there. Now the catch plate is in contact with the trigger bar. Alright, now before you push it in all the way, you want to deal with the slide catch. Right, the slide catch goes something like this. This very tiny spring goes into this piece of a tab. You see the slot there? Like so. And then the other piece is actually the piece that is interacting with the magazine follower. So you want to place it carefully. So you see on this side, there's knobs here, down here, that you want to put into below the spring there. So something like this, and then you just like so. So it looks something like this when it's put together, like so. Right, so the spring within is there to keep the slide catch down. So that there should be a little bit of a tension that's pulling the slide catch downwards, like so. And then you want to keep it there. Another tips, if you would like to, you can apply a little bit of a thick grease onto the spring itself so that it won't, flies off from the base, these tabs here. Right, like so. Now I also noticed if you have a little bit of a trouble with your slide not catching smoothly, you can grab a piece of sandpaper and lightly sand this part, like this. Right, that is because this part, the surface of this tab, is in contact with this part here. So sometimes it's a bit too rough and then it just won't stop or catch the slide smoothly. So just a small tips. So alright, anyway, once that's done, you want to be really careful. This is one of the more frustrating step. Grab your S200 main receiver like so. You want to be really careful holding this slide catch in place. And from the back of the blaster, yeah, I should have done this step first because it's easier this way. Right, you can pull the slide front like so, and then you just place the slide catch within carefully like this. Once it's in, now you want to deal with a couple of things at the same time. Now you have to deal with the catch plate. Now notice you can actually just pull the trigger bar downwards and then slot it in, and it's in now. So once that's done, you still want to keep the slide catch in place because the pin is not inserted yet. So just keep it there and slide the entire slide, the entire slide assembly in right now. So you see these two pinholes should be aligned. right, like so. Then now you can grab the pin. Oh, remember these two pins, the pin above is slightly longer for this slot. Right, once this two pin is inserted, then you can let go of the, the slide catch. It should be secure right now. So now you just want to push the pins, both the pin in. Right, once that's done, you are pretty much done with the slide catch now. Once you have reached this step, now you want to install this piece here. So just insert from here. You can pry these two tabs slightly so that you can get in position, like so. And then now simply just place the pin back in. Now we can proceed to install the pusher. So make sure the screw hole is aligned, the pin hole. And then with this screw, right, once both the screw on both sides is installed, the pin is installed, now you can install these two screws. Now to install these two screws, remember to keep tension pushing downwards so that the slide cover is fitted properly. Now these two screws, it's only to keep the cover in position. So remember not to over tighten this, or this thing can strip quite easily. So the last step, the slide cover, right, just simply place it in and then align the two pinhole and insert the pin. Alright, once you have done all that, did I miss anything? Nope, clear? Alright, we are clear. Okay, there's no loose screw or extra pin. Alright, now that works. Yep. Right, I think that's pretty much it. Disassembly and assembling back the ZWQ S200. So if you have any questions, just shoot away. And oh yeah, before I end the video, I want to talk about these two screws. So what happens is when you over tighten these two screws, this is what will happen. Let's say I just continue to tighten this. So you can see when I release the slide, you can see the hook is not able to sit in smoothly. So I see I can actually push it down. So this can cause a little bit of a reliability issue where the hook will not be able, or this slide will not be able to hook onto the receiver snugly. And this is more apparent if you install a stronger spring. The trigger will just simply fail because this thing is not secured properly. When you pull the trigger, this whole thing can actually move backward. And because this is a slam fire design, that will not fire like this. So let's say I just pull it back a bit further, see? Yeah. See? Yeah. So the slide cover piece must hold on to the receiver shell securely. So it's quite important that you don't over tighten these two screws. So you see, once I've just loosened this two screw a little bit, so you see these two hook, right? It hooks in smoothly. There's no problem. Yeah, just a little bit of a tips that I found with the S200. Alright, so if you have any question, shoot away. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.